Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode with the Soul Tribe Podcast. Lorena and I today wanted to do an episode about control. And there's so many aspects of control that we can talk about. We're going to try to get into the parts that we thought were important to us and important to you guys and important to talk about. So I actually wanted to start with control, oh my God, the control we've been going through, us, everybody. Well, not so much you, Lorena, because you're in Cayman and you don't have all those rules that a lot of other countries have right now. But I mean, for example, I'm in Holland and we're under curfew. And, they've been kind enough to extend it. So now curfew starts at 10 instead of 9. Oh, they're so kind to give us an hour of liberty.
9 a.m., wow.
No, p.m.
Oh, so you have to be in your house by 9.
You had to be home.
Oh.
Yeah, by 9 p.m. But now they're being very nice because spring is coming. So they're like, you guys can stay out till 10.
Wow.
So, that's, come on. I'm all for people taking, I'm all for people not getting sick and dying. You know that. I really want the best for everybody. But when is the line, when is it too far?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I can't even wrap my head around what we went through when it first. So this was about a year ago. We had our curfew and you couldn't leave your house on a Sunday. You couldn't leave. You couldn't go out on the street. Cops would stop you if you were in your car. They'd ask you for some kind of permission slip from the government, things like that. You're wow. And people would still break the rules, which that's going to happen. There's always rule breakers, but it gets to a point where you're wait, how much is this control and how much is this, why can't people just try to stay home? Can't it just work that way? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
That's what Holland did at the beginning. So I remember in the beginning when it first started, every country was putting lockdown rules, and Holland at the time said intelligent, I think they called it intelligent lockdown or something like that, where it was just be smart. Don't go out into big crowds, places it was kind of like that. And it worked for a while until apparently there was too many cases. They say there was too many cases. And I'm taking everything with what is it called?
In quotation marks?
In quotation marks, they said too many cases. Because at this point, I'm at a point in my life where, and even the Akashic Records were talking about it even before COVID, question everything. Mm-hmm. And I seriously question everything. I no longer take everything as true, especially nowadays when I question if half of the time our health is really being considered. Because, okay, you're going to control us for our own good. All right, let's say that it's true. Let's say that the governments really do care about us and really are trying to take care of us. Then why are they permitting McDonald's to be sold? That should be cut off. That should be taken off the table.
Those are big corporations,
right
you know what I mean? Those are huge corporations.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, who matters?
Yeah.
The big corporations, not your health. They're not making sure that fast food companies that are leading to obesity, and it's the biggest killer in the United States probably, and I think in New Zealand, and I don't know what other places.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, do they care about you? Question mark for me right there. I'm not too sure about that.
I mean, this brings up so many questions in that sense, you know what I mean? It's insane. Yeah. It's scary to think that a lot of people and organizations don't have our best interests. They don't care about us. And we need to take our control back, right? We need that's where we need to take, and I'm not saying not follow the rules necessarily, but I'm just saying do you take your control back by questioning things, by looking at the whole picture? And by
doing things from your side that that are going to take care of you, if those things are saying are true.
Yeah, we had that whole episode we were talking about health and empowering yourself with health and taking care of yourself.
I upped my game with health. Like, I've been upping my game big time.
Yeah, I'm taking my health more seriously too. I've been going to an acupuncturist and trying to figure out some gut issues I'm having, which are really like having me feel like I'm not myself. Like, I don't feel okay. And I know there's something bigger to all this. So, we have to also think the gut is such a huge contributor to so many things in our body, right? Like, if our gut is off, if we're eating crap all day and not taking care of our bodies, and stress can cause gut issues. Like, how are we all not stressed right now with everything going on? Stress is at all time. We should all be meditating. We should all be doing breath work. We should all be doing yoga or whatever that is that you connect with. But stress is huge. And the gut, and when we're eating all this crap and not taking care of ourselves in every aspect, from mind, body, and spirit, we're gonna get sick in some way. It doesn't mean we're gonna get, COVID, but we could get sick, and we don't want that. So we got to take control. So you need to take inventory in every aspect of your life, and start changing things, and start making, creating new habits and doing things in a different way, and realizing that that's how you take your control back.
I totally agree with everything you said. And also that gut thing that you were talking about, a good friend of mine, Christina, whom actually I met because she's a listener to the podcast, and she reached out to me months ago, and now we're like BFFs. So shout out to Christina. But she was, we were talking about that, and she was recommending some stuff because she really looks into this stuff and investigates. And she was recommending that I get into, what's it called again? Probiotics, right?
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like the gut health. So I started taking it, and I got some for Aurora as well. But Aurora couldn't go to the bathroom. So I said, well, maybe I'll give it to her once a week instead of every day. And I don't know exactly how, I don't know. But then I talked to you about it, and you told me that a lot of people get tested to know exactly what it is.
Yeah, you get like a GI map, and you figure out, because everybody's microbiome is so different. If you want to start taking a probiotic that's like for you, you would need to get tested specifically for your gut. If you want to be
what kind of doctor is that? Gastrointestinal doctor or something?
No, like a functional medicine doctor or a naturopath. They all kind of look into those things. You'd have to get a specific test, I think, called the GI map. I think that's what it's called. And that would give you every single value, what's over, what's under, what's normal. And then what kind of probiotic, because there's different kinds of probiotics and things that you can take. And that would make a huge difference, right? If you're taking the wrong one, it's something that you already have high in your list, and you're taking more of it, it's going to, things aren't going to be balanced. I mean, this is stuff I've learned over time, right?
But wouldn't, if you're taking it and if it's already too, like you're taking something you're already high of, wouldn't you just eliminate it? Would that really affect you even more, or wouldn't you just eliminate it? It's like a supplement. Let's say that you already have enough calcium, but you're taking calcium.
It depends. I think it depends on the mineral. Some of them you can like go overboard with. Like, for example, vitamin B, I know that your body, when it's not absorbing it, it just flushes it out. But not all vitamins are the same. Some of them could have some adverse effects. So I wouldn't say just take it in case. You need to, that's why it's good to get blood work. I mean, that's taking control back too, going to see your doctor, seeing what's going on in your body, being able to really connect with yourself and say, okay, what am I feeling? I feel off. For me, it's my stomach, and I've known for some time, and I keep thinking, I think I have a gluten intolerance. I'm not sure. And I really love bread. I love all those things. So it's I don't want to look at it. And I'm just like, okay, let me just ignore it for a while. And now it's gotten to a point where it's affecting my, day-to-day life. I don't feel in normal. So, I think taking control could be a good thing. Going to see your doctor and getting, your annual exams and making sure everything's okay. I think those are all important steps,
Yeah. And so then another thing I was thinking about is if our health was number one for the government and all that stuff, besides the fast food thing that I was bringing up, I was thinking, because I'm just coming off the top of my head, things that I've already thought about. I'm saying why aren't they trying to condition us to work out? the reason why people are getting into working out is because we're possibly looking into it and we're following people on Instagram or like, right? But it's not because at school, like they taught us this is important and that is important. Yeah, you had like physical education sometimes, but it was more about sports. At least for the schools that I went to, it's more about sports.
They force you to do things that you didn't want to do.
Yeah, I remember hating some of those. Like when it was basketball, like, right?
Yeah.
Like swim. Okay, I liked when it was swim season. I didn't like it when it was basketball. But yeah, like I don't feel like those things. And then once you're out of school, it's not promoted. Like they don't do things to incentivize that. So that's a big question mark for me once again.
Yeah, I think with exercise, it's like, I mean, even thinking back to when we were, I mean, a year back, right? And this is kind of part of what you and a lot of other people are going through. You know, we weren't allowed to go to the beach, you know, like things like that. You're like, we're not allowed to go get fresh air, go for a walk at certain times of the day. What if, you know, you're working all day? Because people were still working from home. But it's like by the time you left your desk or your, you know, the table at your house, you had 1 hour to go for a walk outside. It's when everybody was outside. So everybody was passing each other on the street. I'm like, this makes no sense. Why?
It sounds stupid. It sounds really stupid.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I'm just like, no, that's not cool.
That's probably a lack of organization there.
They were pretty organized here, but I'm just saying, like things like that make you think, okay, it is really important for people to get out, get vitamin D, like go for a walk and get fresh air. Like we all need that. But there were days that you were allowed in your garden, but a lot of people didn't have a lot of space. Some people lived in an apartment. Some people live in like very small quarters. So how do you manage that? How do you stay healthy and vibrating in a high dimension when you're not getting your basic needs met in that sense, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. And then the other thing is, why aren't we taught from a young age to study our real body? Like, this is when you have too many emotions. This is a panic attack. Let's all teach the kids to meditate, to, you know, let's maybe learn about our chakras. Because you have health class usually where you learn about the body and you learn reproduction system. And our school, I don't know if every school, but like our school, I remember gave like women, you know, stuff for like their periods that they were about to have in a year or 2 years. They learned that. Like, why weren't we taught about our energy body system? Why aren't we talking about like our body and keeping that balanced? Like, why that should be a thing? Yeah,
teaching, like even not even going that spiritual, like teaching you about stress and the effects it has on your body and how you can balance your energy when you're stressed and when you have an anxiety attack or when you're nervous. I don't know. There's just so many elements, like things I think about today. It's like there's so much bullying going on in schools. There's so much.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
It's horrible.
Yeah, so bad.
Like, and you think like, I mean, I remember some of it in school, but today it's like virtual even. So there's just so much more kids and younger people need to deal with that I can't even comprehend what they must feel and the stress and the pressure. Like that all creates your body to feel unbalanced and feel off, and you feel like that you're not okay and feeling unsafe, right? Like I'm unsafe. There's people bullying me. There's people out to get me. Like how do you deal with that as a kid when you're not given the tools and you're scared to maybe talk about it, right?
And then like how do you even, as an adult, how do you even teach your child to manage that? Because you don't want them to not fight back, but you don't want them to really fight back because you don't want violence against violence.
No, of course
But
not.
you also want them to stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
It's like super hard. It's super hard. I don't know how I would be able to handle it. Like I would have to be in that position, but and as a parent, I'm sure it makes you really angry. You don't want to be doing that to your kid.
No, and that's just one, you know, this is just one thing we're mentioning here, but imagine all of the factors and things that are just layer upon layer that we're dealing with today that maybe we didn't deal with when we were younger, or a lot of us didn't deal with. It's really kind of makes you think how we need to take control back of our health and our well-being by doing things like meditating, breath work, yoga, you know, going for a walk and grounding, things like that might seem silly to some, but they can make a huge impact on your health and well-being. You know, even when I went to the acupuncturist on Friday, I was talking about having like acid reflux and some issues with my stomach. And she said, well, the first thing you need to do is you need to get your sleep under control. So you need to be sleeping 8 hours. You need to get your sleep back. And I was like, okay.
Are you not?
Well, sometimes I go to bed really late because I've been studying and doing a lot of things. And then she said, and the other thing is your stress management. That's huge. It's going to be huge for your gut and huge for your, because stress can cause stomach issues and gut issues. She says, you need to do your meditations and breath work every day. You need to be doing that every single day. I was like, okay, if the doctor says, I'm going to do it.
If the doctor says I'm going to do it.
So even finding 5 minutes to do that a day, something.
Yeah. Well, so that's a good place. It's going to lead me to my next point, which is if they really cared about our health, ? Right? Why aren't we being told what natural remedies we can do to prepare in case we're hit by something that's going to attack our immune system, right? Like, that should have been the first thing. Guys, let's say that this would have been like kind of the way they should have been. That, guys, there's this virus. It seems to be severe. There's a pandemic. We've gotten the most, reliable naturopaths and homeopathic doctors and, Chinese medicine doctors. And this is a list of things that they recommend that you do to prepare in case you get it. Like, that's what all the countries should have done.
Yeah.
So that's a huge question for me. Why wasn't that done?
Because that doesn't give anybody money. Yeah.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, do we matter? No. What matters first is the pharmaceutical, the big pharma, right?
Of course. I think that's a huge thing right now. We all know that with everything going on. And I think we just need to be smart. We just really need to think about our own best interest and think about what's best for us. Because a lot of people aren't going to do that for us. So if we don't do it, we're just going to go to the sidelines. It's not going to be good. We're not going to see good effects with everything that's happening. It's a scary time if you think about it. And we really need to just realize that we have the control to be healthy. We have the control to be happy and to be aligned and balanced. Like we can take control back.
Yeah. So I think that's like the number one thing. If I had one big advice for everyone listening, it's take control of your health, like right now. Like, no more procrastinating. I'll do it on Monday, no more of that stuff. There was this like meme video thing that I saw on Instagram, which was like some girl wanted to start the diet and then she didn't. And then her husband's like, okay, but and he says to her on Tuesday, like, okay, we'll start it today. No one starts a diet on Tuesday. Like, so it's like, you know what? Don't wait for Monday. Just let it start tomorrow. And we've talked about that before on the podcast, like, 80% of what you're doing, you're eating, maybe that should be healthy and that you can still enjoy and stuff like that. We talked about that. But so, yeah, that leads me, that kind of leads me into, so we've talked about control of health, but then speaking out against things that you might consider, like you said, more people need to talk about it, about what you can do to strengthen your immune system. Maybe someone comes and talks about they're against, for example, let's say someone says they're against some sort of medication, or even like everyone's talking about the vaccination or whatever. There's massive, massive censorship on this stuff.
In if
you speak out against big pharma or any of those platforms, they're knocking you down. They're not going to let you talk about it. So then that for me is a huge question mark. Maybe I'm wrong, but what if I'm right? And where's like the free speech? Look at these big companies. So we're looking at the ones that are censoring are people like Instagram and Facebook, who are now the same company. We have Twitter, and these are all companies that are known for wanting to hire people from places all around the world. They call it different cultures because they think different places and different mindsets creates an amazing team because ideas can be solved. Okay, great. So you're up for people being open-minded and have different ideas, but not on your platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
On your platform, everyone has to think and say the same thing.
That's
okay. Huge question mark for me.
Yeah,
there.
that makes me upset. That really does. And why can't people speak up and give their own opinion about something? And sometimes it's not even opinion. Sometimes it's facts, and they're making you feel like they're not facts. And we're talking about many things here. But I think we need to wake up. We need to really open our eyes to everything going on. It's really crazy. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a movie. Like I've said that before. I feel like I'm in a movie, and I'm living this like alternate universe of everything that you see in movies is like censorship and corruption and so much stuff. It's like, wow. And like, you know, I think this is happening, and this is how it feels, at least for us, to really wake up and take care of ourselves and think about ourselves and the people we love. But like I always say, we're not here to, at least I'm not here to push anything on anybody, but people should be able to share their ideas and share what they think, because what if that helps somebody? You know, it's like, I don't know. It's really sad. It really is.
Yeah. I think that like I agree with everything you're saying, and I think that if there's something I'm from my side trying to push, is that you question everything and you stop relying fully and saying, yeah, the government, everything they say to me is because it's for my own greater good, or because that's what they want for me, or, you know, maybe my doctor, everything they say to me, like, question everything.
Well,
and
I've always done that my whole life.
Because even doctors might be indoctrinated with a system, a program, or something. Like, they might think that they're helping you.
Doctors are completely bought off by pharmaceutical companies. Like, I remember going to the doctor, and I was probably like 20-something, and I got some blood work done, and my blood sugar was a little high. So the doctor's like, oh, I'm going to give you some medicine for diabetes. I was like, I'm not taking... Yeah, I swear to God. I was like, I'm not taking this. So I remember I Google everything, and I look up everything, and I investigate. I look at research and studies. I was like, this guy's giving me medicine because I actually probably had eaten too much the night before, instead of saying, hey, let's get you tested again. Make sure you're with 12 hours of like fasting when you come. No, he didn't even ask me to do that. He's like, oh, just take this medicine. So it was it was a prescription drug for diabetics, or like pre-diabetics or something like that. I was like, I'm not a diabetic. Like, what the heck?
Do you remember having a mom? And I don't remember what she had.
I think it was for her vertigo. She was having vertigo or something. Or the ringing in her ears, tinnitus.
It could be. It was something, but it's something she went through for a while. But I remember she went to her doctor, and they gave her medication, which she trusted him. She took it. And I remember, Dad, we were going to come back to visit them on the weekend because we were in the Capitol living, and they were outside. And we were coming, I don't know if I was with you, but I remember coming back on the bus and Dad saying, I got to quickly pick you up because your mom is not doing good. She's like foaming at the mouth. I'm like, what?
I don't think I was home then.
Mom was foaming.
Yeah.
Her foam was coming out of her mouth because she'd started taking the medication the doctor gave her. Mom then literally went to look up the medication and found out that the symptoms she was having could have led to her death if she had continued to take it. Like, it had more side effects than it had anything good.
Epilepsy and seizures and I don't know what else.
She was on her way to that. She got so mad, she got another appointment with the doctor and told him off. Like, how you knew this could probably happen to me. You didn't even warn me, you didn't say anything. Well, she ended up looking into it. I don't know how she did that, but she ended up finding out that the doctors that were prescribing that were getting a commission off of it.
They do. They get, I'm telling you, this is how it works in Uruguay.
Well, they're getting commissions off of vaccines, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but France was going to pay like €5 every shot that a doctor or a nurse was able to give. I don't know if that went through, but like there's some sort of...
There's an agenda. There's an agenda.
Yeah, so that really makes me scared, and that makes me just everything, like you said. I think that everything that we live is for a reason. I think that everything that comes into our reality has something to bring us. And for me, I went from being like very trustworthy to the Akashic Records were already pushing me before, saying question everything. So there was a reason for that. But then I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to question everything. And then all this stuff started happening, and that just made me, I was like, wow, now I know why they were saying that. Yep. They were trying to make sure that I didn't get programmed with all this stuff that's coming, and now I'm like, it's funny, I read a meme the other day that said, when the government investigates you, when the government looks into you, it's called an investigation. When you look into the government, you're called a conspiracy theorist.
I love that.
I was like, wow, that's so true.
That's such a crazy word. Like, I think we just need to look up stuff, look into things, like not take things for what people say they are, because you never know. And that's like going back to what we were saying before about like not being able to speak your mind and speak your truth and be able to show a different side of the story, because there might be another side of the story that we're not being told, and we need to know it. And it's like, this is where we start to divide, right? And we've talked about this on the podcast. This is where we start going into different directions, where people start getting angry, people start shutting down and not listening to each other because of these words like conspiracy theorist, or this is just a theory, like, and this is just something you've made up. And it's like, well, maybe you're being brainwashed to think that I'm a conspiracy theorist, or vice versa. And it's like, we all need to just open up and stop judging each other and just listen and just be like, okay, maybe there is a small possibility that there could be something behind all this that's not what's being said on the media.
But also one day, those people that are now called conspiracy theorists, that person one day didn't believe in that, and they were able to open up their mind and listen to a perspective and go, wow, that kind of sounds true to me. I also agree that it can get super extreme, and there's a lot of things where I'm like, I'm not so into that one. Maybe there's a semi-truth to that, but I listen to them. I look into them. I don't just go, yeah, okay. Or I'll find someone that I trust that investigates really well, and then I'll go behind that and look into it as well.
Yeah.
And I think that there needs to be more questioning. I think that's the thing. When we talked about the first spot was take control back of your health, I think the next thing is take control back of your brain. Start actually questioning things. And maybe Lorraine and I are wrong, but go find out. Go figure it out. Go look into it, and know that tomorrow when you go to sleep, that you tried to really find out, and you didn't take anybody's opinion just because it's an authority of some sort or not.
Yeah. And just remember in the back of your mind, not everybody has your best interest. No. So just thinking that opens you up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we're talking about censorship, and Lorena and I always try to help to empower people. That's one of the big things. And this podcast for us has been a really good way to freely speak. If we have done that on another platform, maybe we tried it on Instagram, maybe would have been censored quite a few times, especially in this episode. Yeah. But that's why Lorena and I decided, maybe you want to explain what we're looking into doing, or we're going to start doing.
So the business is already kind of set up, of course. But with Lucia, we wanted to start something, like she was saying, to empower people. And we kept thinking about what would really not only fulfill us, but help in a way with everything going on in the world right now, and like the censorship and everything. And our idea really is to help people create their own podcast, or help them manage their own podcast, however that needs to we're just throwing it out there right now. So with our experience and everything, we've been doing this podcast for, I think, over 2 years, right? So it's been a while. And it's helped us so much in so many ways, and really connected us to so many people and opportunities. So we wanted to kind of help with that, with podcasting, because we know it's an amazing tool to get your voice out, to share ideas, to empower people, to empower you, really, to get your message across and to do in a different way. And podcasting is growing so much. And I think it's an avenue that a lot of people don't consider, and they don't really kind of think about it too much. So our idea with the business's name is Luna and Sage. So I wanted to make it a little bit spiritual, a little bit kind of...
shadow work, Luna.
Yeah, I got to work it a little bit.
But because for those that don't know, Luna, it's moon in Spanish.
And Sage, we know what Sage is. So, we're starting off with this. This obviously could grow into something bigger, but we really want to focus on podcasting. So, this could be for anybody that's wanting to start a podcast. It's an idea you have in the back of your mind. It's something you've been thinking about, but you don't know where to get started. Like, we can step in there and help you. Or for someone that's been doing a podcast for a while and you have no time and you need to kind of get somebody to help you, either edit podcasts or create ideas or even just brainstorm things. And then, if someone that just needs help every once in a while, like a one-off thing, we want to be able to support you all. So if this is something that you have been thinking about and you kind of don't know where to get started, like, we're here. So for now, you can obviously just reach out to us on the podcast, or via DM on Instagram or Facebook, or here, and then soon we're going to share all of the the website and all that is something that we don't have set up quite yet. Like obviously the front end stuff, but everything else is set up. So yeah, we're really excited. So if this is something that's really calling out to you,
it's cool.
Yeah.
We're going to help people have their own platform to get their own words out, whether it be spiritual or not spiritual.
Of course,
it doesn't
yeah.
really matter, right?
I think every idea, doesn't matter what realm you're in. It doesn't matter if it's self-help, if it's music, if it, you know what I mean?
It's still a place that right now you can freely speak and it's not controlled. And that's what I love.
Yeah.
Like podcasting is really, the person can really say what they feel and want to say.
Yeah. And you can really reach a lot of people too. You know, depends on your subject and what you're talking about. But, you know, we've been able to reach some amazing people, and we feel like we have an amazing community and people that support us. Like, it feels great. And it's something that I'm so happy we started the podcast when we did. Like, I don't know what we'd be doing right now if we didn't have the podcast. Like, I'd feel a little bit empty. I'd be like, what are we doing with our lives?
It would be a little bit weird.
Yeah.
It'd be weird.
It's an important part of our lives now. It's something that we don't even, I don't even think about it too much. It's like, we know we have a podcast episode every week and we have a list of things we want to talk about and we just kind of go with the flow with it. But it's so empowering to be able to speak. And, you know, for a lot of people, I think, you know, for me, going on video is a little bit nerve-wracking. So that's why I think I liked the idea of a podcast from the beginning. It was kind of like, I don't have to show my face. I can just talk. And just concentrate on talking and saying and feeling and channeling and whatever. But when you do a video, it's like you have another element, which is not only your voice and speaking, but how you look. And the podcast, you can like avoid that. And it's like what you're saying resonates so much more, I think, sometimes. So
yeah, because if you can say it in your pajamas, then you can really say it.
I'm not in my pajamas right now, but
I'm not either. But like there were times where we were recording at 11 p.m. for me,
of course, yeah,
and I was already in my pajamas. I had my little night tea.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. Like, we're not even in the same country and we're podcasting together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so you could even podcast with people that's not. Yeah, you know,
like there's no limits to it, so it's amazing. And we wanted to share that with you guys because, yeah, it's a project that we've had kind of thinking about for a while, and we're really excited to, first of all, share it with the podcast because you guys are our ride or die. And yeah.
And I think that like having to look, oh my God, it was so much time and so much energy, like
Stressing.
learning, like what do I need to think about first? What do I need to do first? How, where should I go to do this? Like all that stuff. Like, I don't know if I had the time could have found someone that would have set the whole thing up for me. I think it would have been, Lorena, let's just do it with this person, and then like maybe later on we'll handle it ourselves.
I mean, we had time then.
It was still a little stressful for me to figure it all out.
It was, yeah.
But now we got it.
And a huge learning curve too. It was like,
it was, yeah.
How do we do this? And then sometimes we mess something up and then start over. We didn't have like microphones at first.
And then learning about the times that it takes to distribute to the different platforms. Like after you start, you're like, oh no.
We're like, oh, we didn't time this very well.
It's going to take longer to get it. Yeah, exactly. Like you now you know that stuff. Like,
yeah, it's a great tool. So,
but so yeah, that's the idea, to bring the stuff that we've already learned and the knowledge we have to help people either start their own. Maybe you're starting from zero, or like Lorena said, maybe you already have something set up and you just kind of want to like lay back a little bit more and just do the recordings and get someone to do the rest. So, and if you guys have any like interest or questions, just email us and we'll go from there. So that's kind of what we want to do to help people. We want to use our time to create new projects that we enjoy. So that's freedom of speech. We're empowering that. We're all about empowering and taking back your control. That's what this episode also is about. So, yeah. So the next thing that we've decided that we were going to be able to do is, and we've talked about this on a podcast episode before about crypto. We talked about empowering yourself and taking back control in the aspect of your finances. And so Lorena and I had talked about that, and then we got quite a few messages with people kind of asking the context for our teacher, but our teacher is only in Spanish, and we speak in English, so most of our listeners don't speak Spanish. And so Lorena is like, well, we can give them a basic intro into it and just charge it super cheap, so that we can help them out. I said, oh, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
And also because I've been doing this for a year now. You've started, and the other day you called me with a
my
question. I
God.
just like went full teacher mode. I was like,
I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, how do you know all of this? I was like, holy crap.
I'm loving it so much. That's why I'm like enjoying it. And well, I went really slow. Like, and that's what I said in the empowering podcast. Like, start off with $5, start off with $10. Like, so you can make mistakes and you're not going to like be like, no, I just lost $500 or whatever, you know? Yeah. So I did a lot of small transactions to make sure that I wasn't going to mess up, and then I really understood the process. And yeah, now I've done the advanced class, and now I'm doing the trading. So like I'm in it.
You are in it. Jesus Christ.
I'm loving it.
So yeah, the idea with it would be a Zoom kind of course where we can all just hop on and we can show you the platforms. We can show you like the different types of crypto and tokens and the
so
exchanges.
The idea is to talk about exchanges, which is like where you're going to have your account, where you're going to be getting your crypto, whether it be a crypto coin or a token. We can talk about that obviously in the class. We're going to talk about wallets. That's a really important thing to keep yourself safe. Lorraine and I are going to also talk about what we're currently investing in and why we picked those projects, those cryptos, those tokens. And yeah, it's a basic course. It's here to help you if you're interested in start slowly putting your money into that so that you can start financially being independent. This is a basic intro. Definitely, you're probably going to want to go and do like more advanced classes later on in the future if you're into it. And I definitely recommend that. But this is kind of our way of giving back. And we wanted to do it cheap so we can get a lot of people to help. We want to help a lot of people, and so we don't want to charge it too much at all because we just want it to be something like. And
we're not experts, right?
To empower myself. Yeah.
Like we're just going to talk from experience, or we're going to talk about all the technical stuff. That's like the scary stuff at the beginning. It's like where do I start? I don't know where to go. What are the websites? What are the concepts? So with that, you'll have a grasp on how to put your foot in, like how to dip your toe in and start slow, like you said.
And wallets, the wallets thing, I think that's really scary. Like I was trying to explain that to you the other day. We went through it.
Yeah, I did more of the studying because I'm full on with the crypto now. But yeah, it totally clicked. I was like, okay, that makes complete sense now. And why
it's different because it's not like your bank account where, it's different. It's like the wallet is. It's like if you open up your own wallet and you have different credit cards, you're going to open up your wallet and you're going to have different tokens and crypto. But
yeah. And then something I want to say is like, that's the way we teach the Akashic Records or anything for that matter. We're going to apply that same idea to this course. It's like, it's going to be easy. It's going to be digestible. We're going to make everything like very grounded so that you can understand it. And it's not like all these things that go over your head and you're like, oh my God, I don't get it. Because we don't want that. We want something where we can empower you to understand it in our own words. Yeah. And with our own like experience.
Make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to wrap up this episode, the idea for this episode, if you didn't get it, just in case, I want to make sure that you guys start taking back your control so that you can enforce your power, empower yourself, and kind of start creating an amazing reality inside of these complicated times that are going to continue because the Akashic Records have said that before. And so what we're trying to do is help you take your steps forward to advance your own projects, your own personal life, so that distorted reality that's all around us doesn't affect you so much and you still feel like you're advancing in some sort of a way, right?
Yeah, and I want to point something out before we go because I think control, a lot of us are like, oh, control, like being controlling, right? That could be seen as negative in a way. And control comes up a lot in Akashic Record readings, actually. And when we talk about control, it's like not controlling from a place of knowing an outcome or understanding everything completely. It's just taking control at like a spiritual and at a very balanced level. Like, I'm taking control because I know these things are going to be good for me. Like, what's the intention behind why you're taking control? If you're doing it because you're trying to get a specific outcome and you know what I mean? It's like you're getting your ego involved. Then I would say no, because when your ego is involved, that's when judgment comes in, that's when fear comes in, and that's when you're not actually like aligned with what's best for you. So this is control from a place of power, empowerment, and also flowing with your path and what you need to do and what you feel you need to do in this life.
Yeah. The most important part of every single person's contract that's currently incarnated, has ever been incarnated, is literally free will.
Yeah.
And we're going through a time where that karmic contract is actually not being permitted. We cannot actually fully utilize our free will and say, oh, there's a virus, I'm going to go out anyways. It's my own free will, and if I get sick and I decease from it, then I use my free will. But no, that's not the circumstances. I'm being told constantly how I need to manage what's going on. And so you need to start using your free will with what you can for now till the circumstances change, right?
I agree.
Stand up for yourself in the best way. And how is that? Start being independent from the system. Speak out. Use platforms that allow you to speak out. AKA for us, it's the podcast, right?
And Patreon.
Maybe for everybody it's different. Yeah, and the Patreon. Empower yourself with your health. Start looking into taking care of yourself and doing natural stuff so that you don't end up getting sick. Or if you do, you manage it totally fine. You don't have to go to a doctor. That might, you don't know. Maybe you trust your doctor and you've been there and they have a good relationship with you, but maybe not. Like my mom trusted her doctor and it didn't go very well.
Manage your stress, your stress and your anxiety and all those things that you have control over. We all have control over that. We all can. And the more I do this breath work, I'm getting actually certified in an hour to be a breath work and meditation teacher. The more I lean into that, the more I realize, holy crap, 5 minutes of breath work, even just 5 minutes, literally changes my whole energy. It's insane. Like, I used to do it a little bit when I went to yoga on, Saturdays every now and then. I don't really go now. But, to me, what really called out to me was more than just the moves. It was the breath work. And that's why I got called to do this. And I was like, I can help people with this. And I'm going to definitely be sharing videos and stuff. And I'll be posting some stuff about it to help you guys. Maybe I'll do a little breath work for stress and anxiety and like anchoring yourself into your own body. I think we all need that right now. Yeah.
I'm just going to finish giving the points there.
Yeah.
I think that it's important that we control our own perspective, aka question everything, look into it, and decide for yourself what is true and what's not true. Don't just take things at face value and just be like, oh, well, CNN said it, so it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I question all that.
Me too.
And take control back of your finances, which is a system that's not centralized, that's not controlled by, a bigger corporation, like it could be a banking system. And that's why we recommend the crypto. So, because there's decentralized coins and stuff, which we'll be teaching. But that's what we hope for everybody. That's what we wish for everybody. And I think that if we all try to follow through with this in the way that's best for ourselves, because maybe it looks a little different for certain people, I think that we're on a good path.
I agree. I think we're, despite everything that's happening, we can still take control of many things. Yeah. Like Lucia said, maybe not everything, because there's things that are out of our control, but within that, there's always something. It's like that idea of like, oh, I'm having a crappy day. It's like, well, you can shift that inside of you. You can change that perspective and say, actually, no, it's not a crappy day. I'm going to have a good day, and I'm going to change the way I feel about that. So we can do the same thing with what's going on now, right?
Yeah. What's the saying? It could always be worse.
Yeah, I always say that. I'm like, it could always be worse. Yeah. But yeah, I want to do something. Yeah, give a shout out.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, me too. I wanted to give a shout out because I'm so excited that. Yeah, go ahead. You do it.
This past weekend, so Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday we did a live Zoom call with all of our patrons. How do you say it? Patrons on Patreon.
Patreon.
Our Patreon members. And it was amazing. A lot of you couldn't make it because obviously it was on a Sunday, but we ended up talking for 2 hours with everybody. It was like a back and forth.
The idea I think was for like 45 minutes, and we ended up talking, all of us, like for 2 hours.
It was like old friends. Like, oh, we already know. Well, some of you guys we already knew because obviously you have done the Akashic Records course with us.
Or we did a reading or something. Yeah.
But it was so great, and we're definitely going to continue that. So if anybody's interested in connecting with us like a little bit deeper in that way, like come join us on Patreon. We're going to be definitely incorporating that more.
We decided we wanted to do that more often because we all enjoyed it so much.
It literally changed my day. I was having
a really bad day, and then we all got on that call.
I felt automatically all our energies lifted. We talked about so many different topics, and everybody was talking. Like I was like, this is amazing because it's not just us talking, and I didn't want it to be that either. I was like, I want this to be about everybody. I want to meet everybody. I want to know what they're doing, what
and them meet each other as well, because nowadays it's really hard to find people that like
make friends, you know?
Yeah, and that have kind of like the same path as you, that they want to learn more about the spiritual world and get more connected and stuff like that.
I'm going to shout out to Roberto as well, because he's going to do a little. I think we're seeing where this is going, but he's going to send his information, and we're going to do like a little bit of a mediumship thing in the group. So oh
my God, you're going to make Roberto nervous. I don't know if he's okay with us talking about it.
Yes, Roberto, you're good. You know what you're doing. Well, I'm excited for that. So yeah,
I'm excited too.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, if you are interested in the Patreon, we have the links on the show notes. So check that out.
But thank you to all the Patreon members that are on the call with us. Like we really enjoyed that with you guys, and we wanted to make sure to like call it out on the podcast because it was awesome to us. It was special. We wanted to make sure that you guys know that it was special to us as much as it was probably for you guys.
Yeah, I definitely felt like I was grinning from ear to ear after that. I was like, it felt so natural and so nice. It was just like a way to connect in it. With everything going on, it's like the only way you can connect sometimes now. So that was great. I don't know.
Hey guys, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. That's it, guys. If you guys have any like topics or anything you guys want us to touch on the any subjects or anything like on the podcast, reach out. We're always open to receive your messages. Just a quick note, we do still have some spots left for Akashic Records Level 1 course happening on April 17th and 18th. So if you are interested in receiving more information or just want to chat to us about it, reach out to us. We'll put all that information below. And
can I just add, we're currently trying to wrap up for June, July, the Akashic Records Level 2 course. And so for now, we've decided that the best way to go about it is to do it in person on Zoom. And so I know that we have students that are from either Udemy or Thinkific, or even some people we have from Zoom person-to-person classes. And so the idea is that all you have to do is present your certificate, whether you're from Thinkific, whether you're from Zoom, or whether you're from Udemy, and you can totally come into the Akashic Records Level 2 course with us via Zoom. The only thing is that just make sure to have level 1 done. We want you to come with your practice. So if you're thinking about doing it and you're hearing this now and you didn't finish, try to get that kind of like going, because we want you to have the days of practice in, so that you're in sync with the energy of the fifth dimension, the Akashic Records, so that it goes well for the students in level 2. So that's really important to us. It's not just like you have your certificate. Like we want to make sure that you have your certificate, but also you did your days of practice, like the homework after.
Yeah, that's important, because that's going to just help you succeed even more in level 2 and kind of trust yourself more and be able to.
Yeah, it's really important that you already kind of have that muscle of trust a little bit built at least.
So important. Yeah, so important.
Yeah.
So reach out. You can either email.
We've got a lot of projects going.
I know, we got so much going on. I love it, but it's a lot. So reach out to us at soultribecademy@gmail.com or via Instagram, Facebook, whatever's easier for you guys. We'll be able to help you from there. And we'll see you guys next week with a new episode. Love you guys.
Bye guys. Thank you.